Is the Air Jordan 37 Low worth the $175 retail price? That's pricey. I'd say in some ways yes, in others maybe not. Let's take a look.
Work hard, get dough. I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Miles inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I have. I go hard, do what I need to make it last.
Welcome back to our channel, guys, and as you can see, we have a whole new setup going on here. We just moved to a new location, so we did do kind of like a new studio backdrop. We hope you guys like it. All of you guys that have been rocking with us, we appreciate you guys along the journey. Today we are going to be checking out the Jordan 37 Low, doing like some tests on the performance categories such as the cushion, support, traction, all of that stuff. But before I dive into that, we'll just knock out some of the basic info first. So this is the low variation of the Jordan 37 model that released last year. And that was the latest addition to Michael Jordan's signature line. And something that I like about this low top version of shoes is like, one, I mean, I just prefer low tops. Like, I like lighter shoes and they just like feel easier to move around in. But two, they always knock some money off of like the retail price. So these are going to retail for $175. That is down $10 from the original Jordan 37s. And it is, you know, it's still going to be on the more expensive side of the scale just for shoes in general. But I mean, with 37 shoes deep in this thing, and it's Michael freaking Jordan. So of course it's, you know, not going to be a cheap shoe. But now taking a quick look at just the appearance before we move on, I straight up like didn't really love the high top version of the Jordan 37s. I thought they looked a little bit too much like a boot. And honestly, after I got them in hand and like saw them on my foot, they were a little bit better, but I just really wasn't, you know, feeling them that much. And I do kind of feel the same way about these, but I do like the Jordan 37 Low, just like the looks of them. I feel like it's a little bit nicer, in my opinion, of course, but they actually made it to where you can tell the difference between the low top version and the high top this year. I mean, like the Jordan 36 and the 36 Lows last year were like nearly the same height, pretty much like the exact same weight to kind of back that up. So, I mean, we honestly might have gotten fleeced on that second release, but coming back now, looking at the Jordan 37 Lows, I can't lie. Like, honestly, from the side of these, they don't look too bad. Like, this is like the siren red colorway or something like that. It's one of the first ones that came out. So I probably feel like I would like a different color a little bit better. But you're going to have that Jumpman logo show up on the tongue. And that's going to be compared to the pull tab that I think was in that same spot last year. But the last thing to look at, honestly, is the heel. And it's not bad. And like this translucent color. But the heel portion is honestly what almost gives it that boot-like look to me. And it's kind of just like a weird construction. But like I said, I mean, they made it look a little bit more like a boot on the 37 highs compared to this low top version. These altogether don't look that bad, but I guess we're talking about a lot of things that really don't matter, or at least it don't affect how the shoe plays. So now let's go ahead and see how these shoes hold up on the court. So now looking at more of the tech specs and the performance side and checking out the cushioning first, it is pretty common for low top models to get the same type of cushioning features from the original release. So the Jordan 37 Lows are going to be rocking with some double stacked air in the forefoot, meant to give you energy returning responsiveness, letting you stop and start on a dime. Then you're also going to have some Formula 23 in there, which is just, you know, some of Jordan's signature foam. And that's going to be stacked thick in the heel so that you can come down as fast as necessary without aftershocks and then be able to bounce right back. And that's basically what's being used on the inside. So, I mean, right off the bat, if you played in the Jordan 36 last year, the Jordan 37 has some like pretty big shoes to fill. Like the Jordan 36 model was one of my like all-time favorites. Like if I'm being honest, whenever it comes to basketball shoes, you had crazy bounce in the forefoot, good surrounding padding. It was a tough act to follow, and I'll give them credit. Like they definitely gave it a shot, but these aren't going to have the same feel. And at first I was feeling like it was going to be worse. But the more I've played in the Jordan 37s, I want to say the cushion is more so just a little bit different. So you were kind of met with like this super dense foam last year in the model, like for the Jordan 36. And the 37s are going to be opposite of that. They're going to lean more towards like the stiffer side, but not stiff altogether. And that's kind of why they use the word responsive. That's basically what that word means. But without a doubt, like the first thing that you notice whenever you're putting these on and just like playing in them is how crazy the forefoot unit is. Jordan Brand even calls it double stacked, and there's just clear elevation in the front half of the shoe. And if you like more balanced basketball shoes, I would say like probably steer clear of these. But one spot that I do feel like these did get a little bit worse is that surrounding padding. Like the sock liner isn't bad, but the overall upper is made with this material that's just, you know, more so used to benefit other aspects of the shoe and not as much like for the comfort. But using our durometer to check out the midsole, these were reading at a 40.5. That number was kind of bouncing around there a little bit, but honestly, that is pretty much right on the average, and I'm not surprised by that. So, I mean, cushioning is definitely a strong aspect, of course, depending on how you like your shoes to play. So now getting into more of the materials and the support, the Jordan 37 Low actually has this strong and lightweight upper that's designed to like mimic the support given by a taped up ankle. I thought that was like a really cool little touch that they kind of tossed in there. But the materials are going to be made up of layers of this lino weave fabric that is like, that has this like strong plastic ribbon that's supposed to hold you tight without weighing you down. So I mean, a lot of the same ideas generally translate from like a high top shoe to the low top here. And that, you know, that's kind of just to be expected. But the black portion on this upper is going to be made out of that lino weave upper that I just kind of referenced, or that lino weave material. And it's actually going to be see-through too. And that is going to help contribute to like keeping these on the lighter side, with the size 10.5 weighing 410 grams, which is actually coincidentally like the same weight as the Jordan 36s were. And that makes them 10 grams heavier than the Jordan 36 lows were last year, if that's, you know, something you find at all interesting or useful. But the thin upper is like, was definitely a problem on the Jordan 37s for some people. Like lino weave has been used in a few different lines. I know that LeBron has used it in his shoes before. It's actually been used within Jordan's, you know, own line too. So it's not like really this new material. But what I did kind of find interesting on the shoe is like the upper material itself. It felt very durable and tough, but at the same time, I think Jordan Brand kind of regretted not adding, you know, any overlays or stuff like that, or as much overlays and stuff like that to like the middle and the front portion of the shoe on the original Jordan 37s. And I feel like it was a pretty big story for a minute. Like people were just like blowing straight through the side of the shoe. I think Mitchell Robinson did that once. And I actually didn't struggle with the support on that model. But I do recall kind of thinking back, I was like, I don't know, maybe the upper feels a touch on the thinner side for someone bigger than me that might be playing in this model. But Jordan, I guess, might have taken notice of that actually. And they did add some stuff to help on this low model. So you can see the laces are actually feeding through these like white flaps kind of near the toe box. And that gives you some extra like resistance that I think people are going to like. Support wasn't an issue at all like on the Jordan 37 lows. For me, I didn't really struggle with the highs either, but they did at least try and throw some stuff on there to kind of help you fix that. And they're going to be super light. So honestly, I think they play nice for these categories. Finishing it off with the traction, no changes made to the pattern or the materials. These are going to get like the same random pattern that the original 37s had. And traction in general has been really nice in MJ's line, like at least dating back to the 34s. I think that's the first pair that I played in, but I mean, they don't really wow me like the Jordan 36s did. They have like a little bit of bite on the floor, but even doing our squeak test, they just don't really make a lot of noise. I still want to say for some reason, it feels like they catch the floor slightly better than the original 37s, but I mean, you're going to get some minor slipping, and keep that in mind if you tend to play on like a dirtier court. But honestly, the grooves aren't as deep as I'd like, so I'm sure the rubber is going to last, you know, pretty well outdoors, but the actual traction just might not be the best. Plus, this is a pricier model too. I'm not sure a lot of people would, you know, want to take these outside anyways, but cushion will have you covered if you decide to do that for at least like the impact protection side. But wrapping it up with the sizing, these have pretty much a perfect true to size fit. I say they maybe run a little bit narrow, but the length is just about right. You got about a thumb's worth left over, but I mean, overall, the Jordan 37 Low is a pretty solid performer. Like I already like the chop down version better. Like the cushion's fun to play on if you like that bouncier feel. And I think they cleaned up some of the support issues if there were some. Honestly, like I said, I didn't struggle with it much. But you got a light model. Traction could be better, but I'm sure it will be next year. Like they've done this before. But is the Jordan 37 Low worth the $175 retail price? I mean, buy them over the original Jordan 37s at least. They're a solid shoe to hoop in, but the Jordan 36 Low at the same price is just better in my opinion. Thank you guys for stopping by to watch. Feel free to throw us a follow or sub if you like this video. And if you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, just click the link here on screen, or we have links down below or in our bio. Feel free to check that out. But until next review, I'm Lance from Shoewear. Peace.